This is a song that probably out of all the things I've written, yeah, I got favorites. This is called He Went to Paris.
I'm Julien. I've been a chauffeur in Paris for something like 15 years now. Maybe you heard about driving in Italy and Roma, but Italy would be a playground for kids compared to what driving in Paris is. It's the most craziest thing you can ever imagine. You have to be relaxed and smiling with VIPs at the back of your car. When chauffeurs in Paris ask me about my Jimmy client, it's kind of a UFO in our job because and honestly that's holidays for me. September, it's my holiday week in Paris with Jimmy. I'm the very last one to be able to understand that I'm having a holiday while working. We say in French, l'été indien. Whatever the conditions, the weather will always be great when Jimmy's in Paris. It's been like this for 10 years now. The whole crew, the whole team around this guy are making my time in Paris a real holiday time, and I mean it. I will always remember at the very end of the first Olympia show, he entered the car and he said to me, "Hey Julien, you need to see the real big things. So please, Julien, come to Vegas to my very final show of the season. You'll be my guest, but please come and see the show." And I was like, wow, is he serious? When I arrived in Vegas, we began seeing one parrot head, then another, then 10 of them, and we did follow the parrot heads, and then we saw millions of them. There were parrot heads everywhere, partying. It was not even 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The show was something like 3 or 4 hours later, and the party was going wild in the whole city of Vegas. It was, and I said to my friend, this is what I was talking to you about when I told you about Jimmy Buffett and the fans and everything, and this is what I'm talking about, and this is definitely what Jimmy wanted me to see. And we entered the backstage, and I saw Jimmy. Glad to see me. I was the very first surprised of it. I didn't know what to expect. There was only Jimmy and I, and it was very impressive to me, very touching. I don't know what the word is in English, but that was something very, very powerful to my heart, I would say, because it was my very time with Jimmy in the backstage right before the show. It was very impressive for me as a chauffeur and in my relation with, let's say, what used to be a client.
Tell us about that day with Frank Marshall and Jimmy Buffett at the Arc de Triomphe. Because we have that footage, right? I think we might have that video.
I want to see it.
Tell us.
That will be the price of this interview.
Okay, okay.
My most remarkable moment with Jimmy would definitely be his ride, bicycle ride on the Arc de Triomphe roundabout, which is almost the most dangerous place in the world to drive on. And he one day decided that he wanted to have a cycle ride on it, and they decided to have a movie of it.
Okay, go.
So we took the van and Jimmy took his bike, and I went around the roundabout with Mr. Marshall, and we had a very smiley and totally relaxed Jimmy on his crazy roundabout. Frank Marshall and I were completely worried.
Come up right next to me. Good, 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 good.
It was terrifying because both Frank and I knew about Paris traffic, and it did seem that Jimmy didn't. And it was a very, very funny moment.
That was adventurous.
That was an adventure.
I would say that Jimmy comes to Paris in order to find a soul in his venues and concerts because he has always very well chosen his spots. I mean, the very first spot was Le New Morning, which is a famous jazz club in Paris, very historically full of stories of great concerts. And The New Morning were great shows. He then did the Olympia, which is one of the most important venues in Paris. It was a great show, but I think he definitely found his own spot in La Cigale. I would say that La Cigale will be linked to Jimmy forever.
He went to Paris looking for answers to questions that bothered him so.